Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today I am going to be doing a video, obviously. So as you can tell by the title, I am doing a video about the pros and cons of pole dancing from home and not in a studio. Let's get into it. So you may be thinking about starting pole dancing, or you may do pole dancing already at a studio and you're thinking about getting a pole for home. I just want to tell you a few pros and cons and some information that you may want to know about pole dancing from home. Basically, when I started pole dancing, I started when it was lockdown, so there was no studios open at the time, so I got a pole from home. I wanted to use it for exotic pole dancing and stuff like that anyway, so I wanted to get a pole that I could use from home. But yeah, there was no studios for me to go to learn from. I am now currently looking for a pole studio to go to because there's so many reasons why. It will be included in the pros and cons of pole dancing from home. First off, my pole is from xpole, in case anybody's wondering. I'll link it below which one I have. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same nowadays though, because it's a few years old. I think they've got a new model out now, but mine is the one that you change from static to spin with a Allen key. Is it an Allen key? I think it's an Allen key. With a tool anyway. Yeah, you can get one that's more expensive that literally just has a little switch at the bottom and it's quicker, but I didn't want to pay an extra £100 just for that option. Oh, I have written down what I want to say because I'm not the greatest at explaining things and explaining things in order. I will probably chop and change what I'm talking about, so just bear with me for that. Yeah, mine is also a titanium gold pole. You can get different finishes for different grips, stuff like that. So yeah, you just need to sort of work out what type of finish and what type of grip strength you want on your pole. I would personally suggest going with a chrome pole to start with, because you're going to learn to build up your strength and your muscles more, because you're going to have more, you need to use your skin and stuff and more strength to grip to the pole over it like a silicone pole. But they're both different anyway if you go back and look at my silicone pole review. Yeah, I'm really happy that I got a pole from home. And if you're thinking about getting one, definitely get one. I would recommend xpole. I haven't tried any other poles, but if you are researching poles, then you will probably come to find that xpole is the most popular. It's very, very good quality. I've had mine up for 2 years. I've had no issues with it, no budging. I rarely have to change, refit it, because it just stays where it is. I have seen a lot of accidents happening with Amazon poles and poles that are not like a named brand, basically. So I would stick with, personally, xpole or loop it. You're going to spend at least £100 anyway on a pole from Amazon, and I think I paid about £180 for my pole. It might have been 200 actually, but I think it's worth the investment, definitely. Some people I know swear by their Amazon poles and have had no issues whatsoever, so if that's what you want to do, then obviously it's totally up to you. This is just my personal opinion, but I do personally think if you're going to spend out the money, then why not spend that little bit extra if you can on a really, really good quality pole. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the things that I've listed as the pros and cons. So with the pros of having your own pole at home, in my opinion, obviously you can wear whatever you want. No one's going to see you. If you're very self-conscious about going and starting pole dancing in front of other people, for whatever reason, then obviously it's a good option. You don't have to pole dance around anybody else. Obviously you've got no travel to a studio. You don't have to pay for classes. You can go on the pole whenever you want. You can pole dance every single day if you want to. Not that I recommend doing that, but you know, the option is there. You haven't got to worry about going to a studio, finding a studio, because that's what I'm having trouble with at the moment, trying to get myself into a studio. But yeah, obviously I have my pole at home, which I like. Not sure, obviously, exactly where you want to go with the pole dancing, but I've gone into the exotic realm of pole dancing, so I make content that I sell online. So having my own pole at home, can just get on, do some work on the pole, yeah, and make money from doing the pole dancing, which is literally my dream. Another good thing about pole dancing is obviously you can learn what you want, when you want, at your own pace. One day of the week I will focus on pole fitness, conditioning, learning some tricks. Another day of the week I will just do exotic, strip club style, Russian exotic style, striptease style, all of that sort of stuff on another day. And then on another day I may do just freestyle, playing around. Also, I will, one day a week, I will look at my online training and go through some actual training from somebody as well. So yeah, I mean, my week is usually filled with lots of fun dancing, strength building, wearing heels, yeah, dressing up in nice outfits. Like, it's just literally my dream job. I love it. I forgot to say as well, one day every other week I have a Zoom lesson with an instructor, which has been a game changer, and I will come to that when I cover into the cons section and what I would suggest you do. So I'll probably think of some more pros as I'm going along, but in my cons section, you are dancing from home. I know this from experience. You are highly likely to injure yourself more than one time because you haven't got an instructor there telling you if you're doing something right or doing something wrong. Even though you may feel like you're doing something right and you think you are, you may not be. I have injured myself quite badly on quite a few occasions. So yeah, that's one downside of it. And the horrible thing when you injure yourself on pole, usually, for me, you don't realise, or I don't realise that I've actually hurt myself until it's like the next day or until a few hours after I've come off the pole, and then I can't move in a certain part of my body. So when I was learning shoulder mounts, I have a bit of a dodgy neck anyway. I was being very, very careful, managed to do the shoulder mounts, been practising them fine, and then the other day I did them. By the end of the night, I couldn't move my shoulder or my neck on the side that I've had an injury before. So be careful if you have previous injuries as well. Always make sure you're very, very careful because you can really hurt yourself. Yeah, and then I couldn't move my neck. Luckily though, I woke up the next day and it wasn't as bad, and then the next day it had gone. Another time, which was probably the worst time I injured myself, I don't even know what I did. So the next day after my pole session, I don't know what I'd done, something to my shoulder. I couldn't move my arm. I couldn't do any mopping because obviously you're pulling yourself up on the pole. I couldn't pull the mop towards me. I couldn't flush the toilet. I couldn't put any pressure whatsoever, like pushing my arm on anything. I couldn't open a door. And I had to stay off the pole for 3 months, and I thought that I'd permanently damaged my arm. I was really, really upset. I thought I'd just killed my pole dreams. But I stayed off the pole for 3 months, and that's another important thing. If you do injure yourself, please rest yourself until you are completely healed. Otherwise you will cause further damage and cause a longer healing process. So make sure you rest yourself. Rest days are just as important when you're working on your muscles and stuff like that. So yeah, be very, very careful. Pole is extremely strenuous. It's very hardcore, especially if you, because I've learned on spin pole basically this whole time, and now I'm learning static, and static kicks your butt. I'm telling you, it is very, very hardcore, and it will build your muscles up and make you lose weight. It's an amazing workout, but it can be dangerous, so just be careful. Okay, so the next con is you will pick up bad habits. The main bad habit that, I mean, I think everybody does it, but when you don't have an instructor telling you to do both sides, and you realise that you can do, because I'm terrible for this, realise that you can do a move easier and it comes more naturally on one side, and you don't really practice your bad side, and then you could be wanting to put together a little combo, and then you realise you can't do it on that side. It's just a nightmare. And another bad side to only working on your good side, is you can create a muscle imbalance, which I feel was probably a factor in the arm injury that I had. I was really into doing air walks, and I was constantly doing it on this side, so I think that's what caused that. So yeah, you can cause muscle imbalance and injury like in the long term if you don't do both sides. So that's another bad thing about learning from home. Another one is you may not be doing your moves correctly. So I've been doing air walk for over a year now, and since starting my one-to-one lessons, I've just found out that I've been doing them wrong and probably causing issues to my arms. So that is another big important factor, is that you may be doing things wrong in the wrong way, causing yourself harm. And another downside, I feel, I mean, it may be different for other people, but I feel like you will progress slower just learning from home and just looking at free tutorials, which is what I started off, what most people probably start off doing. But you will progress slowly compared to if you're in a studio or if you're having some one-to-one training. I've just started some one-to-one training this year, and it has really opened up my eyes to how further along I could have been if I had started that training earlier or gone to a studio a bit earlier. So yeah, that's another downside. Okay, so if you are obviously planning on poling from home, if you're not going to go out to a studio, if you're not planning on doing a studio at the moment, then there are a few things that I would really recommend. I would highly recommend that you do some training online, and I don't mean the free tutorials that you find on YouTube. They are amazing, and I'm going to do a separate video linking all of the people that I watch and that I learned from in the beginning, who I look at now, you know, all of that stuff, so you can get an idea of some people that I have learned from. There are so many online tutors, online instructors, so if you go onto Instagram and TikTok, you will find somebody that you like their style of dancing. That's what I did. I found somebody on TikTok, I looked through their videos, I thought their style of dancing was absolutely amazing, and it just came up all of a sudden basically. So I decided to pay for, with my instructor, I get her online training, so she has online tutorials, and I get 2 Zoom classes a month with her as well, and yeah, it's really changed a lot in a very short amount of time. I've had 2 Zoom lessons with her, and I've already learnt so much and progressed and realised I've been doing things wrong. So highly, highly, highly recommend, and that is something that I'm working towards doing myself. So once I have gone through some more training and learnt some more stuff and brushed up on what I'm meant to be doing in the right way, then I'm going to be working towards creating my own online tutorials and one-to-one Zoom lessons. When I create the video of everybody that I've learnt from, I will link my current instructor in there as well, and I also do pay for another instructor's online classes as well. The lady I do the Zooms with, she has won multiple awards and competitions, UK pole dancing competition she came first in, so she's amazing. And then there's another lady that I subscribe to, and she is really in the exotic field, and yeah, I absolutely love her training. So with the online tutorials, yeah, if you go and look for pole dancers on TikTok and Instagram, there are so many now doing amazing online tutorials that you just pay for, and you can do them in your own time, and you can, it's a lot more in depth compared to like a free YouTube tutorial, and a lot more worth investing some money into it. I mean, I've subscribed to quite a few different pole instructors over the 2 years that I've been doing it. You can just subscribe to one month, do another one the next month. You don't have to stick with one. You can give them all a little test out and see what one resonates with you the most. But the difference between learning the paid tutorials online to having one-to-one Zoom lessons is just like night and day. As I said before, if you're not having a teacher watching you do the moves, you're never going to really know if you're doing it correctly. Like I said before, with the airwalk, I thought I was doing it correctly this whole time, and I found out that I'm not, because she can assess me as I'm doing it, and it's great to have some feedback, and any questions that I've got, I can just ask her, and she's just, every single bit of advice that she's given me has helped so much. Like, I've been trying to do shoulder mount for nearly 2 years, never even got my feet off the ground. The first Zoom lesson, she got me doing it. So yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend investing in some training where it's like a Zoom call and they can see you. And that is my dream, to be able to do that in the next year or two. So hopefully I can offer my services at some point soon. Another thing I recommend you doing, if you're going to learn from home and nowhere else, is make sure you're practicing on both sides. Like, really try and make yourself do it. I've been making a conscious effort lately, the past 6 months, to try and switch over to doing both sides. Still not great with a lot of the moves, but you do build it up and you do become better. So it's just making yourself do it, basically. And another big tip, which is obviously it's a no-brainer, but some people have to be told, because I did. Make sure you are doing a warm-up and a cool-down before each pole session. I'm quite an impatient person, and I am very I like to go for the fun things rather than the boring things. But I think that's another thing that probably contributed to my injuries, was not warming up or cooling down properly. So please make sure you do that, otherwise you're gonna cause some sort of injury. So when you're trying to decide whether you're just going to stick at home or whether you're going to go to a studio, I would say it probably depends on, one of the factors it will depend on is how far you want to go with your pole dancing. If you want it just for fitness at home, just to keep yourself fit, have a bit of fun, nothing, like, you don't want to go professional with it or anything like that, home pole and some lessons would be fine. You don't have to take it any further than that. I mean, I've only been at home for the past 2 years, even though I've said I want to get into a studio, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen at the moment. So, it's possible just to stay at home. And also, if you want to make money from your pole dancing, depending on what area you want to go into, obviously having a pole at home is good. I have been fully bitten by the pole bug, so I want to go as far as I can with it. I want to progress as much as I possibly can. I want to be a teacher. I want to do competitions. I want to make money from my dancing. Like, I love to dance. I want to make money from performing. I'd like to go out and do performances in like some nightclubs and stuff like that. I want to go into it as much as I can. So for me, I really need to get into a studio, and I need to, at some point, and I need to learn properly from somebody. That's why I've started this one-to-one tuition. So yeah, you really need to have an instructor assessing you, telling you if you're doing things the correct way, because you can't then go and teach somebody everything that's wrong. Do you know what I mean? It could cause them injury. And talking about earning money from pole dancing, I'm going to do another video just going through lots of different options that you can make money with pole dancing. I just want to help people make money doing stuff that they love. That has been my goal for the past 15 years, is to get out of a mind-numbing retail job, a night work retail job at that, and spend my time doing something that I am so passionate about, and I want to help other people, and I want to go into the fitness realm of it as well and build up my muscles and really, really go into like training and coaching and just all that stuff. Even though I'm not rich and I don't live in a massive house, like I have a very small flat, don't have loads of money in the bank, but I did after years of trying, managed to leave my night job last year to pursue all of this. And it's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster, but it has probably been like the best decision of my life. And if I can help other people with that, then I'd be really happy. And also, pole dancing has changed my life in so many ways. I would love to be able to help other people get that as well. Before I started pole dancing, I wasn't in a great place, mentally, physically. I suffered with really bad depression and anxiety after I had my kids, and it was lasting quite a few years. I didn't do anything. I was so lazy. I literally just laid in bed, slept, did nothing. Like, I was really depressed. And pole dancing has been so transformative. The confidence that it gives you is addictive. It's just like nothing I've ever experienced before. I also suffer with, as I've said before, joint hypermobility syndrome. Even though I've got to be careful, it has actually helped with that, and it's helped build up my muscles around my joints. But there's some moves I do have to be careful with. So yeah, I mean, exercise is really, really good for mental health anyway, but I found if you're doing an exercise that you love, then it really is amazing. As well, it's transformed my body. Like, I've never had, can't obviously see them much, but I've never had muscular arms before. They've always been sort of like drooping. My stomach's starting to tone up now. I mean, my bum and legs need work, but I'm lazy in that area. But the difference that pole dancing and a bit of weightlifting has made, and I would love to be able to help other people find that confidence, and it's very, very empowering, I find. And I just could sit here and chat to you all day about pole dancing, because it really is my passion. And once you find that passion, it is so addictive. Yeah, I cannot promote pole dancing enough for so many things, but your confidence and your fitness and your health is the main good points to it. It was something I forgot about, being in the studio compared to being at home, and this is one of the reasons why I actually want to go to a studio. I keep seeing on social media people with their pole friends. Obviously you can make online pole friends and build a community up that way, but it's not the same, is it, as having a friend in person, like having the fun at the studio where you're spotting each other, cheering each other on, learning from each other, doing like special events together, having fun on different like apparatus and stuff like that. Aerial hoops and the silks. Thought I'd pick her up because she is whining. Yeah, I've seen some like really cool aerial cubes. Aerial moon, that looks amazing. A heart, a cat head. There's some really cool aerial apparatus that I want to try out. Also other pole stuff, so like I've seen poles with a strap. They're usually on like a flying pole. I've seen twisty poles, I've seen poles that are like stuck to the ground but they spin around at an angle. I want to branch out and start having some fun in a bigger studio. Oh, and that was another point that I didn't say. When you're at home versus studio, space, you're limited on space, unless obviously you have a big house and a big pole room and a tall room. I don't. I have obviously like a normal size ceiling, so I haven't got much height to go up, haven't got much floor space either, so there's so many different floor moves that I can't do because of that. You know, so that's another factor, is the space, unless obviously, like I said, you've got a big house, so that wouldn't matter. But I'd love, like my goal is to be able to buy myself a house one day with a pole room big enough to have 2 poles in, so I can teach from home in person. That is literally like my dream of pole dancing, what I want to get to, or even in a studio. So yeah, many factors to consider. I hope I've helped out and given you some information that you're maybe looking for. But yeah, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to go and sort dinner out, and I will see you in the next video.